Guys, about a year ago this time, you saw me make a video where I talked in detail about how much I loved the Bravo Company or BCM Recce 14. And it's a great rifle. There's no doubt about it. I think when it comes to materials used, to care and manufacturing, processes, quality control, BCM is as good as it gets. I think Daniel Defense is right up there. I think LWRC, and I'm probably missing some other people. Obviously Colt makes some darn good ARs and so forth and so on. But point is, for years I built with components, and I use the term built very loosely because, you know, no matter what level you're going to, whether it's, you know, like I've done here recently where I'm building my own uppers, you're still assembling parts, and you're not doing anything more than that. You're not forging metal, things like that. I guess if you do an 80% lower and you finish the milling and things like that, now you're getting into some actual manufacturing processes. Anyway, loved the BCM Recce 14. The only complaint I've had with it, and I've talked about it before, is its accuracy is eh. And I think the accuracy does what it's supposed to do. And what that is minute of man. In other words, to be able to hit a man-sized target out to 300 yards, and more than anything else, put a lot of lead on target quickly with higher capacity 30-round magazines. Now, having said that, this particular build, I guess, for lack of a better word, which in this case is a complete spikes upper and a spikes lower that was stripped, and I put it together. But I went with spikes bolt carrier group. I've talked about this quite a bit in prior videos, so I don't want to retrace that too much. Other than I just wanted to say, and you know, wait for it, this is not only a more accurate AR-15 than the BCM Recce 14, it's a lot more accurate. I'm getting pretty close to 1-inch groups when I take my time at 100 using a 3-power magnification. I won't even call this a scope. You know, we know what this is. An ACOG. I was talking about some of the groups I was getting. These are 100 yards, and these are, you know, with elbows on a table. This isn't shooting out of a sled or anything like that. But I put these 3 Birchwood little mini target stickers on top of where I'd been doing some quicker action shooting at 100. And as you can see, the grouping is really awesome. I mean, it's like I said, I'm shooting crap ammo out of an unsupported AR. I'm using 3 times magnification. This is at 100 yards. For me, these are pretty good groups, and like I said, I've shot them where they've all gone in here if I want to use sandbags and all that kind of stuff. So very impressed with what this rifle does, and without a doubt, I'm very excited about seeing how we do at some longer distances, as well as seeing how we do with coyotes. So anyway, what you end up here with a build like this is you've got a fixed front sight. It's not a floated handguard. It's on a delta ring. So when you compare that to something like a BCM Recce 14 that has a completely free floated handguard, things of that nature, you just expect that to be more accurate, and it's not. Now, is that taken away from BCM? No, I think it's a great rifle. I will say that there was a few things, especially an overly loose gas tube that rattled like crazy, that I didn't like about it. But the point of the matter is, I can't really badmouth BCM, but people will say, hey, that's the only brand you should get. It's the only thing that counts. And I'm going to tell you right now, with this spikes, just being honest, haven't shot a bunch through this, haven't shot a bunch through that BCM, accuracy testing, different kinds of ammo, different optics, you name it. This is a more accurate firearm. And it's gone bang every single time, whether I'm doing real quick rapid fire or whether I'm taking my time and going for accuracy. So this is more about being impressed with spikes. couple things I do want to point out about this rifle. Obviously, you know, we talked about the Trijicon, and you know, it is what it is. I mean, this is a $900 optic. It better be good, and it is. Now, a lot of people are saying that, you know, the fixed 1x6s and things like that you see out there now, the LPVOs are the only way to go, and stuff like this is outdated. No, it's not. I will tell you that Trijicon makes one hell of a product, and it's as good today as it ever was, and it's as relevant today as it ever was. This BCM handguard, this is a polymer handguard, and we've talked about this before. That's a drop-in with a delta ring, okay? It's not very expensive. You can get these for less than 50 bucks. And unless you're planning on running a bunch of accessories on your front rails, this is fine. It's super lightweight. It does a great job at dissipating heat. I've not had any problems with that whatsoever. And installs easy, and it fits on there really snug. So nothing but good things to say about that. And of course, I love the BCM stocks. They lock up nice and tight, and you don't get that rattle factor with them. So this has a nice drop-in trigger, 3.5 pounds, but it's just a great AR, and it's the one we're going to take coyote hunting this year, without a doubt. I have absolutely no doubt that this guy right here is going to be able to take coyotes out to 300 yards without trying too hard. So excited about that. But just wanted to talk a little bit about this firearm today. I've worked over the years, I've worked with a lot of ARs, and by no means do I call myself an expert. I think there's guys that know a lot more about this than I do. There's guys that have used these for a living. I never have, but I have put a lot of rounds through them. I do have a lot of hands-on experience. I've built with cheaper components. I've built with more expensive components. I will have to say that the more expensive components do tend to be better. They tend to be better fit. They tend to be better precision, and the materials used are better. Just a little bit of history on spikes. They've only been around, a little bit, you know, a decade or so. They kind of got a bad rap because after the Sandy Hook thing back in, was it 2011, 2012, they were accused, and I think there's some truth to it, to taking advantage of the shortage of ARs in the marketplace and jacking dealers on price. I'm thinking they learned their lesson from it. They were a young company, and I'm not going to excuse that at all. I think that's crap. The other thing that they did back in those days that they no longer do is batch testing. What's batch testing? Well, batch testing is when you say, hey, I'm going to put together 50 uppers or barrels or whatever it is, and I'm going to test 2 randomly out of that batch of 50 that I just ran, and if they're okay, I'm going to assume the other 48 are good. And I don't know if that number's 50 or 100 or whatever it is, but companies like a Daniel Defense, like a BCM, they're going to test every single one, and that's to their credit. At some point along the line since then, Spikes has started doing that. My hat's off to them. I think that's what you need to do. Their stuff isn't cheap, and if you're going to charge a premium and you're going to want to play with the big boys, you're going to have to act like the big boys in the areas of materials used, quality control, manufacturing processes. And from what I can see, Spikes is doing that. So hats off to them. But any of these well-known manufacturers that are out there that have the good reputation, like a Daniel, like a BCM, like an LWRC, like a LaRue, like Son of Liberty Gunworks or SOL GW, these guys are all making great stuff. I see guys all the time getting an argument, well, I think the SOL GW makes a much better bolt carrier group than BCM or this guy or that guy, and I think people get attached to name brands, and pretty sure soon it turns into Ford versus Chevy and all that kind of crap. I'm not interested in that. I'm just interested in dealing with reality and facts, and what I can tell you I've used over and over again, and it works well. So again, hats off to the Spikes. More accurate than the Recce 14 that I had anyway, and not only more accurate cold shot, but as this sucker heats up and you put round after round after round through it, you'd expect, especially with this fixed front sight, that you'd start seeing some variance in your groups. I don't see it with this, and so very happy to report that. Anyway, here's this year's my favorite rifle. This is DR Drake 63, reminding you to support the Second Amendment however you can, and don't throw rocks at other guys and you know, create divisions amongst firearms owners. We've been seeing a lot of that lately. A lot of the big gun channels think that's an okay thing to do, and that getting people fired up along those lines is going to increase their viewership. To them, I say, you're part of the problem if you're doing that. So let's talk about things that unify us. We're up against some people that really want to take these away. They think they're evil, they think they're horrible, and they're not going to quit. So we better be organized. This is DR Drake 63 saying, have a great day.